every one of you here at Appannandale Parish Church. But also, can I take a moment and say thank you to those who are not able to come physically, but they're joining us online as we are being live streamed. But also welcome to those of you who will join on later on to watch the recorded service. We come indeed as family and friends. We come here today to remember, but also to celebrate and to give thanks for the life of Andy. A man who cared, a man who respected deeply the world around him and the people within it. Ancient wisdom tells of humanity being placed in the garden to work it and to take care of it. Andy lived with that sense of purpose, responsibility, as well as understanding that the earth is something we as humans are entrusted. It's not something we own, therefore we should not use it carelessly. But also Psalm 24 reminds us that the earth is the Lord's and everything else in it. Andy believed this deeply. And his life, if you knew him so well, his life reflected that belief in how he treated the land, how he talked and spoke beautifully about the environment, the waters, but also the people in this world. But we're also reminded that the world, we kind of belong in it. And so we have to look after it. Each one of us is called to use our gifts in ways that serve others, that serve each other, but also protect what has been handed to us. Andy did this quietly. He did it faithfully. He set an example through the way he lived. So as we remember Andy today, we do so with gratitude and with a renewed awareness of our shared responsibility to one another, to the future generations, but to the earth itself. So this morning, we come with our raw grief. The raw grief of losing a treasured family member and a man many of us are so proud to have called a friend, to have found a friend in him. Indeed, we come. We come knowing the peace and comfort of God is for each and every one of us. It is available to us this morning. But let me just share the words of the hymn that you'll be listening to soon. This song just describes Andy for me. And it's called Touch the Earth Lightly. Because this speaks of life as sacred trust, a gift placed in our hands for a time. It reminds us that we are part of God's created world, connected to the earth and to one another, and to the generations both past and the generation to come. This song acknowledges both the beauty but also the fragility of life. It is honest about human weakness and the ways we sometimes fail one another and the world. Yet it is also full of hope. Hope for renewal, hope for healing, but hope in peace. But above all, I think the words turns us towards God, the God of all living and all loving, the God who holds creation together, the God who forgives and restores, the God who gently gathers us into unity. So as we celebrate all that Andy meant to us, we do so trusting that the same God who gives life also receives us today. And that love is in God's hand, and it is never lost. So let's hear now, touch the earth lightly.
Touch the earth lightly, use the earth gently, nourish the life of the world in our care. Gift of great wonder, ours to surrender, trust for thy children tomorrow will bear. We who in danger, who create hunger, agents of death for all creatures that live. We who would foster clouds of disaster, guide of our planet, forestall and forgive. Let there be greening, birth from the burning, water that blesses, and air that is sweet. Health in God's garden, hope in God's children, regeneration that peace will complete. God of all living, God of all loving, God of the seedling, the snow and the sun. Teach us, deflect us, Christ reconnect us, using us gently and making us one.
What beautiful words they are. We're going to pause now and we will share a little of a tribute to Andy, but first and foremost, if I may invite Trevor, university friend of Andy's, who is going to share some wisdom, I think, and the time at uni that they've had together. Thanks so much, Trevor.
University. Andy asked me to say a few words before he passed away. So this eulogy is on behalf of Andy's mates from Aston. So we first met 53 years ago in 1972 when Andy came to Birmingham from his home in Warrington. Student life was very different then. The Vietnam War was raging, as were the troubles in Northern Ireland. In the UK, we had electricity blackouts, industrial unrest, and Ted Heath led a Conservative government. And we converged on Aston to start our 4-year sandwich degree in mechanical engineering, so we were all kindred spirits. The price of a pint was 15 pence, and average pay was £2,000 per annum. Unlike a lot of students of today, we were employed by companies, and in Andy's case, that was Girling, an automotive brake manufacturer which was based in the Midlands, but more about that a bit later on. So like all universities, Aston was not short of a few distractions, such as the pub near the Union called the Pot of Beer, three-legged pub crawls, Rag Week, kidnapping the Carnival Queen, and Barbarella's nightclub. We, and that's Andy included, had no time for this as we were all too busy writing up our laboratory practicals. like good engineers, yeah? So my most distinctive memories are seeing Andy with a smile on his face. He always appeared positive and cheerful. He was an excellent student and worked very hard. I seem to remember Jeff Harrison and Andy spending loads of time computer programming using those damn stupid punch cards. So a typical engineer, he really got into the detail of information technology and computers, a strength which served him well in his later career. So in his final year, despite revising for finals, he took himself off fishing at the beginning of the fishing season. We could not believe it. It demonstrated his passion for sport. It didn't affect his finals performance, though, as he got a first, which was very rare in those days. Also in our final year, Andy was part of the design and construction team for the ill-fated float for Rag Week. It was built in the style of a Mississippi steamer on the back of a trailer. It was designed to carry Robin Barnsley's band, but we'd not taken into account a couple of tons of rainwater on the roof when it set off. So as I mentioned, Andy worked for Girling, who had about a 50% share of the UK brake business. Andy was involved in designing the brakes for the James Bond car that went underwater. It was a white 1977 Lotus Esprit, nicknamed Wet Nelly, and featured in The Spy Who Loved Me and was driven by Roger Moore. He also had the job of designing the brakes for the Jaguar XJR9, which achieved a first and a second at Le Mans in the Le Mans 24-hour race in 1988. He must have done a good job because Jaguar won the majority of the races in the World Sports Car Championship that year. And the championship itself, good brakes can be as important as the engine in a racing car, especially with the very high speeds and experience at Le Mans, and he plainly did a very thorough job, as we would expect. So we kept Aston memories alive, and about 10 of us and our wives have met regularly since graduation. Piston Broke was our T-shirt logo at Aston. Andy organised one of the first Piston Broke reunions in 1978 in Tamworth. We then lost touch, and he went to have a family and to work for ICI Middlesbrough. ICI wanted an engineer with computer skills. Then on to AXO, finishing up as global head of R&D at AXO Nobel. Andy re-emerged as an active member of the Piston Broke group about 10 years ago, when with his partner Janice, arriving in the Cotswolds in his Porsche Cayman. They also have good brakes, I believe. He subsequently organised great get-togethers in Newcastle upon Tyne, and last year in Glasgow. Janice became his wife, resulting in a happy relationship and a loved addition to our group. So Andy was a typical engineer, always looking to improve things and help humanity, and an unswerving commitment to getting things right. Since retiring, he's been a driving instructor for the Association of Advanced Motorists. He became increasingly passionate about looking after the environment, and he's got a fondness for red squirrels and a hatred of farmed salmon. He also was very passionate about the pine marten preservation. So as we say farewell to Andy, we take comfort in the knowledge that he was left behind a world much better for his efforts. He will be much missed, particularly at our Piston Broke reunions. We'll raise a glass to Andy and hope that Janice can join us. His life was cut short, and I offer these words of comfort from Julian of Norwich. All will be well. All shall be well. And all manner of things shall be well. For there is a force of love moving through the universe that holds us fast and will never let go. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, one of the things that Andy was also part of here in Moffat, he was part of the Moffat Council, and if I may invite Meek Barker on behalf of the Community Council to say a few words too.
Thank you. Thank you. Firstly, on behalf of Moffat Community Council, may I offer all the members of Andy's family and his many friends our most sincere condolences. Communities like Moffat's are held together by their people, by those community members who think not just of themselves, but who think about what they can do for others, for their community as a whole. Andy was one of those people. He gave of his time and his energy to act with and on behalf of our community. You didn't have to be the closest of friends or to have known Andy all his life to know that Andy was in all respects a gentleman, and a gentleman who was keen to contribute. Andy cared about others. Andy cared about his community. And as we have already heard, Andy cared so much about the natural environment we all live in. And he worked hard to ensure we could protect and secure that environment for future generations. I, and many of us, knew Andy from his membership of Moffat's Community Council. In all respects, Andy was a model contributor to the Community Council. Andy was alert to issues, aware of what was going on. He was in all respects thoughtful, and his contributions were always well considered, always valid. Andy had a strong sense of community justice, and where he thought the wrong thing was happening, he was never shy to speak out, share, or report it. As we have heard, and as you will hear, Andy was a man of many talents and interests, and I suspect that individually we only know just a few of them. Andy helped ensure funding for detailed studies of local wetlands to capture a vital knowledge base. He was involved with RAW, Restoring Annan's Waters, a valuable environmental group. He was a voice for the natural environment. We were also very lucky to have Andy contribute to Visit Moffat's small team as well. Andy gave Visit Moffat a huge technical uplift, really upgraded our communications, and he thought long and hard about how he could help businesses here in Moffat, leveraging his supportive network of contacts to help us all. Andy cared so much about the future of Moffat, and to lose Andy is a loss to us all. It's a loss to our community, and the contribution he made will be missed by all of us. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mick. There is so much to Andy that, yeah, it's really kind of like an amazing, colourful man. But can I invite Alistair, a close family friend, too, and he will share some stories about Andy. Thank you.
I first met Andy in 2019 at a meeting organised by Saving Scotland's Red Squirrels, as we both wanted to find out about the harm done to native red squirrels by the influx of greys. It turned out that they wanted to start a local group and were looking for volunteers. After the usual sticky silence with everybody looking at their feet, I blinked first and said I would be chairman, and Andy immediately said he would be secretary. Thus started a firm friendship and we each had our own strengths. I just wanted to be out in the woods catching greys, while Andy, although he was a skillful trapper, was great at the organisational skills needed to set up Moffat and District Red Squirrel Group, the Mad Squirrels. He knew how to write a constitution, how to make a website, how to have a Facebook page, how to get a bank account, and many other important things. Andy became our representative on the South of Scotland Forum, which brought together squirrel groups from all over the south of Scotland. As people have said already this morning, his computer and data collecting experiences were greatly appreciated, as was his sensible contributions to debate. We caught lots of greys, and as a result, there are now many more red squirrels in the region and many more delighted people, both locals and visitors, who have seen these beautiful, iconic animals. Both my Moffat grandchildren were members of the group, and Andy enjoyed their company, although they were once reduced to fits of giggles when very long-legged Andy struggled through a bit of steep, rough ground, which our much shorter Scottish legs had managed okay. You know what kids are like when they're trying desperately not to laugh until they look at each other. Andy once told me that a friend, no doubt with Bambi in mind, had recommended that he not try ice skating. Andy's other great country love was fishing, and more of that in a minute. Before coming to Moffat, he was a member and secretary of the Hutton Rugby Fly Fishing Club, and he was very proud of the work which the members had done to improve the water quality of their beat on the River Leven, which resulted in them receiving the Conservation Award from the Wild Trout Trust. Andy had been doing kick sampling in the Annan to monitor quality of the river water more or less as soon as he came to Moffat, and therefore it was no surprise when he became involved in RAW, Restoring Annan Water, and in particular the original pilot project to plant trees and bushes on the bank of a stretch of the river just south of Moffat. This was expected to stabilise the bank and in time to provide shelter and cover for the fish and to increase insect and invertebrate life in the river. Again, his hard work and knowledge was recognised, and he was so excited to have been asked to join the committee of RAW to initiate plans for the entire length of the River Annan, but sadly was unable to do so because of his illness. Back to fishing again. He was a very knowledgeable trout fisherman. He once caught the biggest rainbow trout I have ever seen, and I learned so much from him from our conversations together. However, I did take Andy salmon fishing on the Tweed once, and we caught the usual number of salmon, none. Halfway through the day, Andy said to me, "I reckon I could have caught a few trout by now." He was not as used to failure as I was, and that was the end of our salmon fishing together. He loved his house in Moffat with the big window, which you saw earlier on, looking over the fields to the river and the hills beyond, which gave him much peace. Finally, he was a kind, nice man and a good friend. My wife Heather and I enjoyed his and Janice's company, and we will miss him so much. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to invite Peter Dreghorn and Franca, who are going to sing to us a song written by John Flynn, The Water. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Elsie. Is that working?
Hello, yeah.
Hello, hello. We're going to sing a song called The Water, which was written by Johnny Flynn and it became the Raw Restoring Annan Waters theme tune. And it's a beautiful song, and I hope we do it justice. Just to introduce Franca. Franca's on the Community Council in Beatuk, and she gave us Raw some funding a while back for our lovely tree nursery, which Andy was a part of. He did so much for Raw, and including riverfly monitoring, planting trees. His last thing that he did for the Raw group was to deliver 100 acorns, which he had grown into oak saplings in his greenhouse. So that was lovely. So we're bereft not only as friends and neighbours, but also environmentalists. So if you can imagine this song, if I'm Andy Stott, and this is Janice Stott, this is how it would be received as perfect song for both the river and a funeral. So, I'd just like to say there's no greater privilege to be asked to sing at a funeral. And I said to Andy, you never asked me to sing before. But anyway, we're really pleased to be here. So.
All that I have is the river. The river is always my home. Lord, take me away, for I just cannot stay, or I'll sink in my skin and my bones. The water sustains me without even trying. The water can't drown me, I'm done with my dying. Please help me build a small boat, one that'll ride on the flow, where the river runs deep and the larger fish creep. I'm glad of what keeps me afloat. The water sustains me without even trying. The water can't drown me, I'm done with my dying. Now deeper the water I sail, and faster the current I'm in. Then each night brings the stars, and the song in my heart is the tune for the journeyman's tale. The water sustains me without even trying. The water can't drown me, I'm done with my dying. Now the land that I knew is a dream, and the line on the distance grows faint. So wide is my river, the horizon's a sliver. The artist has run out of paint. Where the blue of the sea meets the sky, and the big yellow sun leads me home. I'm everywhere now, the way is a vow to the wind of each breath by and by. The water sustains me without even trying. The water can't drown me, I'm done with my dying.
I just want to say one more thing. Andy asked me to tell you about the state of the river in June last year. Normally you're allowed to fish salmon and sea trout, but you have to put them back. And last June, the River Annan was that deep. And so you couldn't even fish to put the fish back, because when they had their panic attack, there wasn't enough oxygen in the river. So he's asking you to plant trees along the riverside. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter, for that. We will pause once more, and I'm going to ask Joanna and his daughter to share a little too. Thanks, Joanna.
Okay, so I didn't think that I was going to be able to do this, but so just bear with me. It's too painful for me to try to write down a whole speech to say how much Dad meant to me, but I did just want to say one thing. So I became a mum when Magnus was born, just a year after losing Mum. I'm so grateful for the fact that I have my dad's example and Mum's to show me how to be the mum that I've become. But Dad stepped up to his role as Pops with giant but ever so gentle feet, and went so far beyond anything I could have imagined in his support for me and Greg, but most of all, his calming and loving energy and unconditional love for our babies. He was every grandparent, of course, predictably brumming cars and trains, assisting with the construction of Lego, Duplo, offering encouraging hands and strong arms as they learned to climb and walk, probably in that order, and being the supplier of ice creams. But he also always cherished and cuddled them. He did bedtime, he read stories, he got stuck in with nappies, and he looked after them when they were poorly or just needed a chat. Luckily, Mabel wrote a poem which I think beautifully shows how special her and Magnus's Pops was to them. She wrote this poem at school when they were tasked with writing something on the theme of my world. And it was just soon after Dad had become unwell and we'd found out about his cancer in November. So I'm going to read her poem now. My World by Mabel Price.
Well done.
He is towering tall and has white wispy hair, a toothy grin and the kindest of faces. There's nothing I love more than hugs, warm hugs in his chair, the only person allowed to tickle my ticklish places. Protect the red squirrels, he says with a playful smile. They are special, like you, little Mabel. To the woods he goes to trap the greys, which are vile. Keep up the good work until the red numbers are stable. Helping with homework, Lego building and reading a story, but shopping trips are the favourite thing to do. There's always treats, ice creams or cookies, such glory. My Pops, get better soon, I love you.
Thank you so much for that, Joanna. And it's so amazing that, maybe I was such a young, being under 10, and yet powerfully those written words. And I remember reading that poem when it arrived with Andy and Janice, and, even just reading it then, it was, brought tears to our face, but, to hear it again being read by her mum, that's very special indeed. And I'm now inviting Matthew, and you can just tell the height, isn't it? Like, since I met them, it's just, but their height is just amazing. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Matthew.
Well, I'm sure you'll all be glad to hear that I haven't written a poem for the occasion. So that's good. Hello. Thank you all for being here today, everyone in the church, and those of you joining us through cyberspace, welcome. It means a great deal to our family that so many of you come to be with us today as we remember and celebrate the life of the man that many of you knew as Andy, some of you knew as Andrew, and to whom my sister and I was simply Dad. I'd also like to say a special thank you to Reverend Elsie and, I think they're back there probably, Stephen and Kenny, the funeral directors, experience and patience and compassion have been invaluable in the arranging of today, and we really appreciate everything that you've done. And another special mention from my sister and I is for Janice. You really stepped up to look after Dad in the last few months, and it's clear how much that you meant to each other, so thank you. On that note, it seems especially sad that it was less than 10 years ago that I stood in front of many of you here to give the best man speech at Dad and Janice's wedding. I remember thinking at the time that was quite a tough gig, but obviously the 2017 version of me didn't understand much. Nevertheless, here I am today, more sombre in dress and infinitely more sombre in mood, stood before you, paper almost in hand, shaking and wishing that I'd had more time to rehearse, or in this case, just more time. Trevor, Alistair and Mick have already spoken about many parts of Dad's life, his time at university, his passion for the environment and its conservation, and his active role within the communities where he lived. Thank you very much for your kind words. A huge part of Dad's life, especially certainly when I was growing up, was his work. He spent years with ICI, working Billingham, Wilton, Felling and Runcorn, and later with Axe and Noble. His job took him not just around the industrial heartlands of the northeast and northwest of England, but further afield to the United States, to Argentina, and later to Deventer in the Netherlands. Deventer is somewhere that he loved visiting. He made some great friends when he was there, and it's somewhere that I know he and Janice have been very much looking forward to returning to in retirement. In the last few months, Dad had got many messages from former colleagues, and they meant a great deal to him. My experience of Dad's working life was simply as follows. I knew that he left the house around 7:45 in the morning most days, and he was usually home in time for tea before about 6 o'clock in the evening. He never really spoke to us in great deal about what he actually did. I knew that he got some cool computers to play with, so I had a vague awareness it was something to do with IT, possibly IT security, and I was savvy enough that teenage me was pretty anxious when I realised that Dad would have been fully cognizant of the search history on our family computer. The recent cards, letters and emails he received gave me a real insight. They shone a light not only on what he did, but also on the high regard in which he was held by the people that he worked with. There are too many to mention individually. His friend John collated many lovely memories from colleagues, but one email that Dad got before he died really struck a chord. It was from Mike and Miles Wood, who I don't think I've ever met. They were a father and son that he worked with during his time at Wilton. It was a lovely message, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that I learned more about what Dad actually did in that one email than I had done in the preceding 45 years of living with him. So thank you to everybody who got in touch. Your messages meant the world to him, Janice, Joe and I, and they helped make a difficult time a little easier. In all the messages I've read, both before and since Dad died, one thing shines through above everything else, and that's his kindness. He was, without question, one of the kindest people I've ever known. He wasn't necessarily someone for grand gestures or overblown displays of emotion, but what he did have was a constant, quiet, practical kindness, the sort that you could rely on, that was always there without fuss or conditions. And I'll give you an example. So I remember not long after Mum had died, sitting with him having a pint in the White Swan, which is in our old hometown of Stokesley. And after a couple of drinks, I finally built up the courage to say, Dad, hypothetically, how angry would you be if I told you I was learning to ride a motorbike? To which he replied, hypothetically, I think I'd be very angry. So with more than a little trepidation, I admitted that I was, in fact, actually learning to ride a motorbike. So he nodded and said, well, in that case, you'd better be careful. And that was it. We spoke no more of it that night, but by lunchtime the next day, he'd already found details of an advanced riding qualification he thought I should probably look into, together with the name of a group near where I lived that provided the training. And that was Dad. He wasn't dramatic, he wasn't loud, just quietly, unfailingly, and almost inexorably kind, but practical with it. And it made his advice hard to ignore, and I know that even in the short time since his death, Joe, Janice and myself have already found ourselves missing his sage words on matters as diverse as roof repairs, antivirus software and printer updates, and smartphones for teenage grandchildren. But there are other things too. He was incredibly patient in almost everything that he did, and very slow to anger, qualities that served him well in his role as an instructor with the Institute of Advanced Motorists. He took my sister and I out when we were learning to drive, which helped me pass first time, and Joe to pass eventually. The best people pass second time though, yeah? He was also instrumental in getting Janice behind the wheel and building her confidence after she'd passed the test. Supervising your children and your spouse through the early stages of learning to drive would test anyone's nerves, but Dad handled it with trademark aplomb. It really was testament to his seemingly endless capacity for patience and forbearance. I can really barely remember him ever raising his voice or using any serious bad language, except perhaps once a year, lying under the Christmas tree, pine needles dropping into his eyes, with my mum insisting that the tree had to be perpendicular to the floor from every possible viewing angle. So as a dad, our dad was top tier. I've already mentioned his kindness and his patience, and I honestly can't remember a time when he gave my sister and I anything but unwavering love and support. Through what he said and how he lived, he taught me more than I can properly put into words, and has given us so much to be thankful for. I remember car journeys where he'd play me Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix, and in return I forced him to listen to Guns N' Roses and Metallica, who at least he pretended to enjoy at the time. I remember being genuinely shocked to discover that he'd actually seen Led Zeppelin live when he was a student. 14-year-old me couldn't really conceive of the fact that this bloke was that cool. Although, having said that, him singing along to the guitar solos in Purple Haze did nearly once make me crash the car on purpose. Alas, amongst his many virtues, a gift for singing was notably absent. Even in the last few months of his life, when he was given the worst possible news really at every turn, his primary concern was still for everybody else. That was just who he was. Life can be very cruel, and it feels like Dad had a lot more to give, but I'll always be grateful for the time that I had with him. He never really spoke to me about what he thought might happen after death, but I hope wherever he is, he's kicking back after a great day's fly fishing, drinking a nice Malbec, eating a big steak, and listening to some good old 70s rock and roll. Sorry. Dad, you may be gone from our sight, but you will remain a constant presence in our lives. Thank you for your love, your patience, and your kindness. We will carry them with us always. Rest in peace, Dad.
I
Let us come before God. Let's pray together. Loving God, we give you thanks today for Andy, for his life, for his presence amongst us, and for all that he meant to those who knew and loved him. We thank you for the gift of his personality, for the laughter he shared, the conversations he sparked, the kindness he showed in quiet and unseen ways. We thank you for the roles, the many roles he carried. A treasured family member, a friend, a colleague, and a neighbor. But Lord, we thank you for the love that flowed through those relationships. Where he gave encouragement, we are grateful. Where he showed strength, we honor it. And where he revealed vulnerability, we cherish the trust he placed in others. So thank you for the memories that now rise within us. Moments both ordinary and extraordinary. Days of joy, shared meals, and familiar routines. And even the challenges that shaped him, they indeed shaped many of us. So gracious God, we recognize that no life is perfect and no relationship is without complexity. So we entrust that everything that was unfinished or unspoken, we entrust it into your merciful and healing hands. Father, today we give thanks. Thanks that Andy's life mattered, that it touched our very own, and that the love we shared is only part of you that we still are. So receive now our gratitude, hold our sorrow, and help us to live in such a way that best of Andy continues through and within us. In Christ we pray it. Amen. We are almost coming to the end of service here in Arpannondale, but we are going to go to Rukelnog. You are very much welcome to come over if you don't mind. And if you can't come to Dumfries with us for whatever reason, I know it's such a horrible day out there. Moffat is normally usually pretty nice when it's not raining. But it is today. But so you can't really wander the shops. But feel free, take as much time here. If you're not coming, you can stay in this building. But just meander through to Moffat House, where the family later on will join when we come back from Rukelnog. I mean, I can say thank you for the presence here from each and every one of you and the family. I mean, as they said, they've just been so overwhelmed over the last few months. There is just so much, you know. It's a shame that, you know, even for myself, I've just known both Andy and Janice in these last, 4 or 5 months, but they're just an amazing people. And there was cards throughout, and every time we went in the house, it was almost like a florist, isn't it? And Janice was running out of jugs and, vases and everything. Your love near and far has just been so overwhelming. The kind words, not only today, but the kind words you've been sending to the family through the illnesses and even after you heard the sad news when he passed. It's just overwhelming. So can't thank you enough for the love that you have shared. It just shows, isn't it, that, when someone like him who touches people's lives, we then see it back. So the family want to thank you. And those who are watching online, we know many of you wanted to make the journey, but we also understand because of distance, you couldn't really come through. But thank you for taking that time to pause your day and watch online. You will notice that maybe online as well, you will notice there is those of you who are techie savvy, there is the QR code that you can donate directly. But for some of us who walk about with cash in our pockets, let's dig deep. And there is a box on the way out. It will be on the left there that we can, let's just raise up and help the cause of Andy. We're going to stand if we're able, and we're all with one voice. I know we so much wanted to say so much. The words will appear on screen, a song once more that really describes Andy in so many ways, for the beauty of the earth. Now go, knowing the blessing of God is with you. May the rod rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sunshine warm upon your face, and the rain fall softly upon your fields. Until we meet Andy again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Amen.
Johnny singing gold is gold. Big Baba Lula, baby, what I say.